Hi, hello guys. Today we are going to see about RRR prompting. It is one of the prompting techniques, effective way to prompt to LLMs. Let's deep dive into the RRR prompting. What is prompting? What is prompt engineering? What is the common difference between them? And let's see how it goes. Yes. Okay. Let's start with what is prompting. Prompting is basic act of giving an LLM instruction or information to guide its response. It is guiding an LLM through a question or something, right? What we ask, right? The input what we give to LLM to extract a desired output, right? That is prompting. The prompt can be simple or complex depending on the desired outcomes. For an example, is like write a poem about the cat or something more specific. Anything what comes to your mind as an output, right? You give us an input to the models, right? That is known as prompting. Okay, let's see about what is prompt engineering. This is more advanced technique where you can craft the prompt for strategically we can craft the prompt so that we can get the LLM to perform a specific task or generate a desired type of response. It involves understanding the LLM's capabilities and limitations and using that knowledge to get the prompt for an optimal results. Like there are some of the techniques like prompt engineering uh, can be included with relevant examples or the data in the prompt, specifying the desired format or the style of the output, like it is an example or a code or a script, anything. Using a specific keyword or a phrases to guide the LLM of the understanding. Okay, we have now seen what is prompting and what is prompt engineering. The key differences is like prompting is a general act for giving instructions, while prompt engineering is art of crafting those instructions for the process. It is like difference between giving someone a paintbrush, like I'm saying it as an example, and giving them to detail a sketch to follow the process of painting. It is something like painting is prompting, and a painter who's professional in that is a prompt engineer. These are the key difference between both. uh, let's see what are the different types of prompting. Okay, actually there are three main different types of prompting: by function, by modularity, by specificity, and additional promptings are also available. Let's see all of them. Okay, by function. By function is like a response prompts. These prompts aims to get a specific response from an LLM. This could be like answer to the question, or a completion of a sentence, or a generation of creative text based on the keywords. For example, here we have written like, what is the capital of France? Or we can also write like, write a story where a dog dot dot dot. It would complete the complete story, where starts from a dog and creating a story around the dog. Okay, then uh, stimulus prompts. These prompts provide the LLM which something starts with information or a context to guide its response. This can be useful for tasks like summarization, translation, or a question answering based on a specific passage. Like that, we can just give it as an input. Basically, it will be containing the whole content or needed information to perform a task. For example, summarizing the following article is something like, we must need to provide the article first, then we will need to ask it to summarize it, or we need to provide the article totally and ask them to translate it. Next comes modularity. Verbal prompts. These prompts are given in a written or spoken language to a common type of prompting LLM. For example, right, write a limerick. It is something like write a poem in a fixed of 5 or 10 lines. It is something like that. Next is visual prompts. These prompts use images or other visual elements to guide the LLM's response. This can be useful for tasks like image captioning or generating creative text based on the images. Example, providing an image of a cat and prompting like write a story about a cat. Basically, it could understand the whole image, and with that, we could ask any prompts or any questions or any generation around the image. We can do anything around that. Next comes the auditory prompts. Prompts that uses sounds or audio recordings to provide the context, right? This is less common type, but it could be used for tasks like music generation or speech recognition, or example prompts are like continue the musical piece in the same style. Some artists would have put on a style and created some music. We could continue the music with the music like these music generation LLMs. Next comes the specificity. The it is First prompt is like open-ended prompts. These prompts allow the LLM a lot of freedom in the response. They might be providing a general topic or a starting point, but leave the detail up to the model. It is like something a very generalistic prompt. It is like write a poem, write a story, or if we just give a write a story means it could choose anything: cars, bikes, cat, dog, human, robotics, AI, anything it could form. So it has a lot of freedom over there. Next, closed-ended prompts. These prompts provide more specific instructions or constraints, limiting the LLM's creativity space, but potentially leading a more focused response. It is something like, let's see with an example, right? Uh, Write a haiku about a red rose blooming in the morning sun. It is, we have constructed a more, constructive way. We have set up some limits. It must be in like an haiku. It must write about a red rose blooming in the morning sun. So we have some constraints. So it must follow the constraints and write the poem like that, haiku like that. Okay. Let's see about the additional prompts. Additional prompts are, I mean, like continuation prompts. These prompts are used in like building upon an existing piece of text or a conversation. They can be helpful for tasks like dialogue generation or story writing parts. Uh, Example, after generating a paragraph of story, right? Prompting with what happened next could do, it could generate still more behind that. This could do more. Okay, let's get back to the RRR prompting part. That is the main core part of our video. Okay, RRR prompting is technique is found by a person named Raju Kandasamy. He has total 23 years of experience in various domains like XR, AI, robotics. I will give his LinkedIn profile and the slides in the description. You can go through his profile also. Uh, okay, let's see what is RRR prompting. RRR prompting, when you heard the word RRR, do you think about Rise, Roar, Revolt movie? It is not like that. Here it comes like role response. Basically, here you don't need to memorize anything, or you don't need to follow a more instructive way for prompting the LLM. Here, let's see about the very simple steps which can be covered over here, and which can be driven the desired output from the LLMs. Okay, let's start with the role. Role is nothing but setting a role to an LLM. Basically, LLMs are trained with internet scale data, right? So that it is expert in anything Java, Python, AI, machine learning, or a React developer, Node.js developer, anything it can do. But here we need only a specific desired task, like it must generate a Python program or a React front end or something or SQL commands. But so here we need to put up a particular role or give a particular role to the LLMs so that it could understand from which domain we need to acquire the knowledge, right? Here, examples are like we can set like role. You are an expert in Python development for last 20 years. Here the important aspect is last 20 years means we are not just giving it for a namesake. We are just specifying that multiple versions of the Python should also be understood by the LLMs. This is main important thing, and it is just of creating a center of attention to the LLMs where it can focus very clearly in what domain we should give a response. This is role. And what is rules? Rules are something like a set of instructions which the LLM should avoid. For sake, right? We must always provide an LLM more than what it should do. We must provide what it shouldn't do, so that it could easily figure out what are the things which we should not do, so that we will be getting the desired output. So rules are like a set of instructions which need to be avoided, and we can also include which is should in which path it should follow. Like examples are like follow clean code practice, follow DDD, design driven development, and solid principles. And you must also handle IO error handling also. So it must able to do a various industry level coding practices, or industry level codings will be given as an output. Next comes the response. Response are the area where it must give the desired output in the desired format. Like here we have given the example of you must generate a Python code as an output, but we can set as the response must be in JSON. Whatever you generate, give it as an JSON. Or if you want, if you are trying to calculate a score of students, right, you will be giving it in an unstructured form, like student name and math, without just a space, giving a mark, without giving an enter next subject's name and this score of the subject. But if in this response area, if we specify that the response what you give should be in a JSON format, where everything must be in a key value pairs, so that it could generate a very neat and effective prompt, effective response from the LLM what we get, so that the response can be directly used for next processes, uh, like next processes. Yes. Okay, at last finally we can see a complete example of RRR prompting. Here we have given a role. You are a Python developer for last 10 years. Okay, next the rule comes: follow the clean code practice, follow the domain driven development and the solid principle, and handle the IO error handling. Everything is given. And the response: you must generate a code for bubble sort which is going to be used in production mission, and generate a response in JSON format. This is the total RRR prompting example. Okay, if you want to see the with RR without RR example responses, right? Here you go. Wow, there is a massive difference, right? Here, if you have given you must generate a code for bubble sort, is it just creates with an starting with a def function in a Python, and it just create a code and give some example, and it will give a very basic thing. But when it comes with RRR, right, it is generating a massive code which is can be used in direct production machine. Here we can directly see that it has included the comments, the functions, descriptions, and when it comes to sorting, right, everything is comes with an output of uh, JSON responses, and it has handled some errors also. Value error handling, exception handling has been done over here. And a simple logic, but it is when it comes to production, or production grade machine, or enterprise level, right, then we must take her in a huge level. So prompting like this will be very useful for engineers or developers to use it in their own code in day-to-day lives. Here I have included both the links of the OpenAI chat. You could also see through that. At last, thank you for this seeing the video. I hope you could have understand what is how prompting make a very huge difference in response of LLM. Uh, Another great thanks to Raju Kandasamy, also thinking about this and creating a name called RRR Prompting, which is more useful and easily rememberable also. Thank you, all of you. Thank you.